Elgin Park, yes, it's a very neutral place. There's no conflict there. It's colorless. People who look at my photographs will bring their own stories. They'll say, oh, this reminds me of the house that I grew up in. Oh, we were in a car crash that looked something very similar to that. So it brings those stories out in people. There was a Popeye cartoon when Olive Oyl was walking on a building being built, and every time she was about to step off, a girder came. That's my life. My resume looks like what's available in the job force. And I worked for a cabinet maker, a mailman, got bit on the first day. I said, I'm sorry, I quit. I was the art director for a national company, and I fall on the floor and I turned blue. From that job, I went to become a bartender in a very sketchy bar. I got fired because I would not wear hot pants. And that's when my next job from that, I said, I want to be a model maker. Everything you do, you will learn from it and you will use it later on in life. When I was a mailman, it made me aware of how streets are laid out, how towns grow. My photographs read well because there is a logic to it. Elgin Park is not just my little fantasy. I'm documenting the 20th century in a way. I put my stuff out on the web for about a year, and over a year I got around 1,000 hits. But someone in England who worked for a car magazine sent me an email and said, can I show one or two of your photographs, just as a, oh, isn't this interesting kind of thing. The day it hit the stands, it went from 1,000 hits to 1,000,000 hits in, within a day, and then it kept going and going and going. I was delighted and I got emotional about it, and then it was the, oh my God, what have I done kind of thing. And then people, I'm a recluse. I mean, I'm very personable, and I can, go outside and talk to people. But recognition is tough for me. It actually stems from when I was young. I was bullied in school, and I was bullied because I was different. I think I'm still dealing with that, still struggling with what that means and all that. I don't think about it a lot, but it does bubble up. I just realized I've come into this reality at a slightly different angle. There was the whole issue of being gay. I knew from kindergarten. I absolutely knew from kindergarten, because there was a boy came in, and I went, I like that person. The bullying got so bad that the teachers let me leave class 15 minutes before the bell rang because they knew I was getting tromped on. It's like, I wanted people to say, I wanted them to say, we like you, you're interesting. If anybody's been depressed, you kind of know what that road feels like, and then it gets more and more narrow and narrower and narrower and darker. And then for myself, it got to the point where it was a form of liberation, because it's like, I can end this. I tried to kill myself a number of times for a lot of reasons. And each time it's almost like I got my messages from my future self that said, you're going to get through this, and you're going to make a difference in your own little way in the world. So I needed a place that I felt comfortable in, and also to be incredibly creative too. And I constructed Elgin Park, which is sort of a dreamlike recreation of my past. Elgin Park is never a lonely place for me. It really is a fountain of creativity, because I never know what the next scene is going to be. So it's always challenging me and inspiring me. I admit, 40 years ago, recreational drugs, definitely. LSD of choice. I remember taking it for the first time and go, here we go. I learned a very interesting lesson while taking it, is that I didn't have to go to foreign lands to meet foreign people and stuff like that. I mean, I went inwardly, and I was in territory that I had absolutely no idea where I was. I created Elgin Park so anybody can be there. In some ways, it's a miniaturization of real life when I'm creating my scenes and all that, because it's really taking care of details and making sure everything's in its place. Elgin Park does have a darker side. It's not evil or anything like that, but some of it is based on stories that I've heard when I was little. I leave out the more gruesome parts, but yeah, it's and it kind of you kind of need that little spookiness or whatever, you know, makes it interesting. I think the longest I've taken for a project was 4 months, and that's the house. I built the house that I grew up in. It was therapy. There was some questionable stuff happening in my family back then. We kids were asked to go outside and play, but I knew that they had really fascinating stories, so I would hide and listen to the adults talk. I had some relatives that were missing a father, and after eavesdropping, I found out why. People were murdered, people were mutilated. Those are pretty tough stories. Some of the stories for Elgin Park are inspired by those. So there's hints in it, but you know, I won't go down. There's too much bad out in the world. I don't need to play. Elgin Park does not need the bad, you know. So, and when I was a kid, I always wanted to change the world in some way, and I didn't know how to do it. And you know, all these jobs I've had and all that. Maybe this can make the world better and better and better. Then it come to find out, it's the thing that I like to do the most. I put it out there, and it has changed so many people. A lot of people say, well, I can't, they'll write to me and say, I can't do photography and I don't know how to have a camera. And I said, that's not, can you sing? Or, you know, so we'll have conversations like that. What else can you do? Somebody found out he wrote. He can write really well and started publishing some stuff. I'd like to think that I have helped, and it has helped, and it is still helping. Elgin Park now has atmosphere and gravity. I mean, it's on its own. So if it ends for me, I think it will continue. It has made an impact. I almost feel like I'm finishing up the loose ends of my life. I mean, I don't, maybe I'll be here another 20 years. I don't know. But, you know, if I passed away tomorrow, that's perfectly all right. I feel like I've done something. My tagline is, the keys are in the car, there's a full tank of gas, and the food is good at the diner, you know. That's Elgin Park, you know. I don't care who you are.